Hello there and welcome to another episode of Gotham Talk. This episode is episode 19 of season 1 and it's called Beasts of Prey. Several storylines going on as per usual. In this one we've got Gordon going after a serial killer named the Ogre, a man who has been kind of getting away with what he's been doing for so many years because anytime a cop starts to investigate him, he kills the loved ones of that cop. So yeah, no one in the police force wants to touch this guy, and Loeb, through some nefarious means, dumps this case onto Gordon's lap, and Gordon doesn't know all this information. And Gordon being Gordon, of course, he feels he has to investigate it. On top of that, we've got Penguin trying to get his hands on this property from this woman. Bit of a subplot, but it's all leading to a plan that Cobblepot is trying to hatch in order to kill Don Maroney. On top of that, we've got the escape of Fish Mooney and some of the people that she was with in the prison. She hatches a plan to escape and manages to successfully do so, although gets shot in the process. And then the final storyline we've got going on is that of Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle tracking down Reggie Payne to basically find out who hired him and why. And that leads to Selina pushing him out of a window, basically murdering him. Yeah, okay, so that's essentially what happens in this episode. What did I think? Well, as per usual, the Bruce storyline and the Gordon Bullock storyline are the ones that kind of stand out for me. They're the ones that I'm most invested in, most intrigued about. We get typical moments of humour from Bullock when Bullock's trying to convince Gordon to just step back and not be bothered and kind of just let the case slide. He gets a few funny lines there. And we get a really kick-ass moment from Gordon when he grabs off Commissioner Loeb at the end and says that once he's done with the Ogre, I'm coming for you. That's what he says to Commissioner Loeb. I kind of feel like Gordon already has enough on Loeb to be able to go for him now. Get rid of Loeb first, then maybe go after the Ogre rather than the other way around. Hey ho, that's just the way I'd play it. But yeah, so yeah, nice kick-ass moment there from Gordon. The guy they're going after, he's played by Milo Ventimiglia, who most people will know from Heroes. This is a very different role that he played in Heroes. Obviously, he's a serial killer here. He's not a very nice man. There's a bit of a 50 Shades of Grey vibe mixed with Hannibal Lecter going on here. But yeah, the scenes with him and this woman, his victim, they're all right, I guess. I mean, it's not pleasant to watch anyway, is it? This guy's a killer, and he doesn't have any good intentions with this woman, so that's obviously not going to be a good thing to watch. But I don't know. It just feels a little bit over-egged, a little bit hammy, a bit cheesy. At one point, there's a line of dialogue he calls out himself. It's a bit cheesy, and it does come across that way. I don't know. But it works. It works well enough to set this character up as someone that we want to see Gordon capture. Kind of like an end of season big bad. So yeah. The Bruce Wayne, Selina Kyle stuff, again, I like it. I like that we see Alfred still in recovery. He's trying to get back on his feet, but he has a bit of a mishap and it causes some bleeding, and he's back to being bedbound. I like that, because in a lot of TV shows, someone gets stabbed or someone gets shot, and then the following episode, they're back on the feet, business as usual. So I like here that actually they do show that, you get stabbed from a knife, you ain't getting back on your feet anytime soon. So I like that they keep that up. I like that they play on that. Bruce and Selina going after Reggie Payne. It's a bit of a brutal moment from Selina. Even Bruce Wayne was thinking about doing it himself, pushing him through this window, but he doesn't. And then Selina Kyle does. And therein lies the difference between these two people. That's something that will go on into their later years when one becomes Batman and one becomes Catwoman. But yeah, it does put, I think, maybe too dark an edge onto Selina Kyle at this point. To just outright kill this guy the way she does, there's no moral kind of grey area here. She just outright commits murder, and it kind of makes me not like her too much, especially seeing as it's against a guy who's, quite frankly, is just a drug addict and a bit of a bum. He's on the streets. He requires his drugs. He's very much addicted. It's like I say, it's not an easy moment from a moral position, so to speak. But it does make you question how strong a friendship Bruce Wayne can have now with Selina after seeing her do that. And it's also a shame to see Reggie go so soon as well, because the episode he was last in, it was such a strong one, and seeing that relationship between him and Alfred, it was the most memorable part of that episode. Here, he's not quite as formidable as he was in that episode, but again, that's because he's been on the streets for a couple of weeks, I'm guessing, at this point, and he's taken to the drink, taken to the drugs. So I like that storyline, both of those storylines. The Penguin one, again, as with a lot of the stuff with Oswald, kind of seems like filler. We always get some kind of thing that Oswald is leading to out of his storylines, but the majority of it does tend to be a little bit humorous, a little bit of filler. And the performance here from Robin Lord Taylor, when he's talking to characters and that, I kind of liked it, but I feel like he's over-egging the limp. And I feel like maybe I've mentioned this before, but there's a moment when he's walking out the bar and the limp just seems really over the top. And I just think it should be a little bit more subtle, Again, it shouldn't bug me, but it does, and it just makes that performance feel a bit forced. Like I say, I do like him when he's interacting with other characters, but when we see him walking off or walking into a building or out of a building, wherever, I feel that limp is just, tone it down a bit, man. Tone it down a bit. And then, of course, finally we've got the Fish Mooney stuff. It's good to see her finally get off this island, because, to be quite honest, it was boring me a little bit. Seeing her wearing that white robe and the white turban, it was just, it'd gone on long enough, quite frankly. So I'm glad she's off. Obviously, she's in a bit of a bad way. She's been shot. She screws some people over royally in order to get off the island, but she does come through for some people who quite frankly, deserve her to come through for them, given what she's put them through or allowed them to go through. There's a moment between her and Dr. Dolmacher. Again, too on the nose, that name. There's a moment between him and her where she's trying to escape, and he kind of catches her in the act, and then she has to find some way of getting out of it. And I don't believe for a second that Dolmacher would buy her story that she gives about her being afraid, because she's shown just how much of a hard ass she is, just how much of a tough nut she is. She stabbed her own eyeball out, for crying out loud. She's quickly taken over the prison side of things. She gave a lot of crap to Dolmacher's own men, his head security guy. She's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that she's a tough cookie. So yeah, when she gives this kind of breakdown and tries to act as if she's really afraid of this guy, I'm not buying for a second that he would believe it. Even if he's got an ego, I'm not buying it. So that scene felt a bit cheesy, a bit forced, and a bit unrealistic, to be honest. So yeah, this is a bit of a mixed bag. Again, the Gordon stuff, for the most part, is pretty strong. The Bruce Wayne stuff, for the most part, is pretty strong. But it's not a spectacular episode, I don't think. I would give it a 3 out of 5. Yeah, a 3, I think. It's just, yeah, it doesn't stand out to me as being a particularly great episode. Like I said, the final moment with Gordon and Loeb I really liked, and a few other little bits. But on the whole, it's pretty average. I'll give it a 3. But what about you? Have you seen this episode? And if so, what did you think about it? And what did you think of the series so far? Please comment below, let me know. And until next time, crack it.